Hello friends, welcome back to The Big Talk. I'm Trisha Brooke. In this very special season of The Big Talk, I am going to be talking with the most amazing guests from Podcast Row. Podcast Row's mission is to connect entrepreneurs with podcasters to help them share their story. In January, this exclusive event was held in New York City along with an incredible partnership with GLOW, the Global League of Women, founded by Lisa Wang. GLOW is a new female-first community amplifying female voices that address critical issues, stories, and thoughts from business to politics and personal challenges. All of my guests in this season have an incredible story, and you all know how important story is here on The Big Talk. I am super excited to welcome our featured guest today, the incredible Stacy Cassio. Stacy, are you ready to drop in?
Affirmative.
Stacy Cassio is the founder and CEO of the Pink Mentor Network. Stacy understands the importance of mentorship because her own career and business have been built on the opportunities introduced to her by mentors. Stacy has worked in many different industries, including insurance, investigation, engineering management, manufacturing, new product development, and operations for an employee assistant program. The vast exposure to many industries proved to Stacy the importance of great mentors as a career development tool that can help us connect professional dots. In 2017, Stacy founded the Pink Mentor Network, Charlotte's first female mentorship community. She has dedicated her life to reshaping how women seek and obtain mentorship. Stacy's model has embraced and empowered hundreds of Charlotte women by teaching them there has never been a woman we couldn't learn from. And her career has been built and fueled by great mentors until she became one. Stacy, take a minute to fill us in on anything I missed and talk a little about you.
That was wonderful. I'm so happy to be here today. It's true. Mentorship to me has built my whole career. I didn't know how to do anything when I entered the workforce, and so I built this really cool skill of watching others, mimicking their most successful trades and skills, and then doing that until it authentically became my own. And so that's really what the whole business is about, finding those key people.
I love that, and I think part of mentorship is also understanding how to communicate. Were you observing the mentors in terms of how to communicate so you could pass that on?
Yeah, so I think in the beginning, I was observing the mentors just to survive.
Tell me more about that.
Yes, so I did not come from a formal education. And so I was doing that just to advance my own career. So I didn't know what leadership was supposed to look like until I felt it. And when I felt it, it was like, wow, I could do that. And I could have that impact on people. And there have been some key mentors in my life that taught me to be a good leader. And that was just game-changing for me. And then the void of mentorship in my life is what created the model and the community that I have today.
What does leadership feel like? What did you know you were feeling for the first time?
I knew that I was being heard. I knew that what I was contributing was important and was being appreciated. And it's also fascinating because I think mentorship, you want to keep your good mentors near you and develop those relationships. But all mentorship really is learning through someone else's experience. And sometimes the bad examples are excellent mentors. You learn a lot from your first bad manager.
That's hilarious. I've never thought about a bad mentor before.
Yes.
So if you accept the gift from the bad mentor, you can learn what not to do.
100%. Some of my most valuable lessons came from what not to do. I will not treat people like that. I will not speak to people like that. I know how it feels to be on the other side of that. It's not something I'm going to be okay with.
That's something that I also put into place. I've been on the stage my entire life and in auditions and where choreographers treat dancers poorly or directors look down on actors. And I just thought that wasn't necessary. I'm not from the school of beat somebody up until they do what you want. I'm from the school of create a safe space so that you can take risks and expand and grow. So as a mentor, I also feel strongly that I've learned what not to do based on all of the horrible, mean people I've faced in my career.
I'm going to that school. That's exactly where I come from, yes.
Amazing. So let's talk a little bit about your personal story, why it's important. Do you share your personal story with the people that you now mentor, and is that important in terms of communication and leadership?
Absolutely, but not until you've processed it all yourself. So being vulnerable is super important to the story. And as a mentor, being vulnerable about what you don't know and how you learned something is super important. That transparency is great. But it's also not a venting session. It's not just sharing all the baggage. So it's more having a conversation in order to grow that person. Because you're investing in someone when you choose to mentor them.
Let's talk about public speaking, the big stage, the big talk, and how that translates directly into those intimate conversations, because I believe that it does. And I would love to hear how you feel about it.
So the very first event that I had, so my business started out of my own need. I was the head of engineering for a manufacturing company, and my team was male, the leadership was male, the clients were male. We were welding truck bumpers. It's crazy when I think about myself in that role compared to what I'm doing now.
So you were working for a company that welded truck bumpers.
Yeah, yes, that's correct.
How do you find yourself in that job?
Well, ironically, I followed a mentor. I blindly followed someone who I trusted, and it put me on her path and not my own.
So I want to point out to the listeners, a good mentor will set you free.
Agreed. I think one of the mistakes that women especially make with mentorship is we show up with our baggage, and when we show up with our baggage, people want to fix that, and it sometimes won't put you on your own path. What we need to do instead is show up with our vision for what is next in our careers, and if you don't know that, don't ask for help yet. Because what's going to happen is when you show up with what's next, people of great experience are going to want to invest in you. But it's not until you are clear on that, or you're going to get put on someone else's path.
I love that. So you were on someone else's
Yes,
path?
correct. Yes, thank you. Yes, so I was on someone else's path. And when I realized that, I also realized I didn't have any mentors. And like I said, I had used mentorship as a way to advance in my career. And when I realized there wasn't anybody to tap me on the shoulder and say, come with me, I created mentor dinners. And it was really selfish. It was, I needed really experienced women and successful women because I wanted a mentor. I also wanted to learn how to be a better leader in an environment where I wasn't authentically leading. And the first mentor dinner, it was titled Finding Your Voice. And it was exactly what I needed at that moment. And then there were a series of other dinners. Again, exactly what I needed. And I didn't know it, but I was creating my own entrepreneurial path. And I was creating the business by all these influences of great women. And it's really crazy. So the events then built this community of both women who wanted to learn, but also women who wanted to contribute in a way that didn't add something to their plates. And with that community, I started to recognize there were patterns and mistakes we were making. And if I could create a mindset and a framework and a platform that would give us a roadmap on who we were looking for, what to ask them, how to grow those relationships, all of a sudden I was arming women with what they needed. And it has, up until this point, if you think about mentorship, it's very gray. It's an awkward conversation, an awkward ask. Nobody knows, what to say, who to tap.
Right, the old "can I take your brain?"
Oh, I hate that question.
Me
It's
too.
the worst. It's the worst. In fact, I won't answer. What I'll ask them is, what do you really want from me? If they can articulate what they really want from me, then I will either introduce them to someone I know who has that experience, or I'll take their call. But it's very much, you have to be able to articulate what you need and ask for it.
I love that. I love that so much. I think, Stacy, I have an example. I was speaking at the New School University in New York, the journalism class. And they were bright-eyed and really, really intelligent and talking about incredible social issues. It was fantastic. And on my way out, this young woman said, "Can I walk you to the elevator?" And I thought, absolutely. And she said, my presentation is in 2 weeks and I would like to hire you to coach me. Can I email you? And I said, do you have my email address? Do you know how to spell my name? I didn't even give her a card. And that was me seeing if she was serious.
Yeah, yes.
So she emailed me and she said, I want to hire you for 1 hour. And I was like, no, consider this a mentorship. It took so much courage for you to walk me to the elevator and for you to ask for what you needed. I am going to give it to you for free and for as long as you want.
Yes.
So I think you're saying something that is so powerful is that ask for what you need.
Yes.
People respond to that.
Yes. And do the research on who you're asking. Like many of my mentors, I was their fan before I had the ask. I studied them. I knew that they could help me. I knew that they were the one person I needed the conversation with. The other piece that I think we often miss on in that relationship is the reporting back. So the mentor wants to know that their time was worthwhile, that their legacy is going to continue on through your work. And so that investment of it mattered to me is so important. And the thank you, just the gratitude. Like if you realize that your time went to something valuable and it was appreciated, you're going to invest more. Like that's how you grow the relationship.
That's fantastic. And this is directly related to public speaking as well. I always say to my speakers, you want to do the research, you want to be the easiest speaker they've ever worked with.
Yeah.
And then you want to report back saying, that was amazing, I love being able to contribute and to serve your audience, and I look forward to doing it next year.
I 100% agree. I'd make it easy for whoever's hiring me to speak, by giving them, these are my topics, here's my bio, giving that all up front so the work is out of it for them.
And talk a little about when you're on a big stage and you're teaching or you're sharing this information about the importance of mentorship. What does the audience usually come away with?
I have a great example. So just a couple days ago, I was speaking at Year Up, which is this amazing college community. It's helping a group of young adults get through college. And they were probably one of the best audiences I've ever had. And it was because they realized this was a tool that was going to help them in the next stage of their career. And think about how terrified you were in those early days of your career. You didn't know who to ask for help. And just giving people that framework, it gives them a roadmap. And all of a sudden, you know what you're looking for. It's really hard. It's like networking. It's really hard when you don't know what you're looking for. It's just like a blind business card. Who could I ask for coffee? And it doesn't always work out well. It's a waste of time and energy on both parts.
It is, and there's something in dance when you're partnering with somebody and you connect hands and there's zero energy going either up, down, sideways, round, anyway. You don't know what they want. It's the same thing with communication. You have to be super clear, very specific, asking for what you want, knowing what your intentions are so that they're not confused. I'm feeling a different vibe here. I'm not sure what to do. So I love all of that. And I think it'd be amazing for you to talk about, first of all, how we need to give ourselves permission to ask for help first.
Yes. So one of my mottos is give yourself permission and grace to explore, because you won't know who you need until you know where you're going. And once you know where you're going, you can look for people who've already been there. I find that the best asks are industries that may be similar to where you're going, because most likely competition isn't going to want to share their secrets, right? So you want to look for someone who has kind of built something similar or has led a similar team, and just ask them to share the dirt. And it's really fascinating because they want you to succeed, and they will definitely help you get to that next level.
Where are you currently, Stacy, in your entrepreneurial journey?
It's amazing. This whole dream started out of my own need, and it just built something so cool. So like I said, we did events. We're still doing some events in Charlotte.
I want to come to one of those events.
Oh, you have to. They're fantastic. It is the most amazing women, because I found that the people that stick in the community are those that know they have something to contribute and those that know they have something to learn. And that's so much diversity. It's diversity of background, diversity of education, of race. It brings everybody together. The only thing we have in common is we're all lifetime learners, and it's really cool. The energy is great. But then we are now using our pop-up mentor model, which is this model of 6 different types of mentors you need based on pain points we recognized in a woman's career or her entrepreneurship journey. And then at 3 different levels of mentorship. So we started to realize mentorship can be anything from an informal mentor who is just an influence that like grounds you or inspires you. You may never know those folks, but they're just as important because they keep you going and they remind you where you came from. Then you have your formal mentors, which is what most people think of, like the coffee, let's grab coffee and may I ask you this? And in those situations, it's very important to be clear about what the ask is. Because that person has answers for you based on their own experience, but they don't know you. They don't know you as a professional, so they don't know how to apply it to what you're doing. But a sponsor is the top form of mentorship. And those are the people who have great experience about where you're going. They also know you, so they know your blind spots. They know your weaknesses. They know your strengths. They apply their experience directly to your career. So it's been absolutely amazing. When you arm people with this, they all of a sudden have boxes where they can fill like people's faces and contacts, and we're now making that into a digital platform, which will be available beyond Charlotte.
That's incredible. I'm so glad you're expanding that beyond Charlotte. I think there's so much value in that. Stacy, what about the idea of, I don't know what to ask for? How many people say, how can I help you? And you're at a loss. You don't know what to say. That happens all the time, right?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time thinking about when somebody asks me that, what am I going to say? And right now, it's very much help me spread the word that there is a framework for mentorship. Tell everybody that comes to you that doesn't know how to use mentorship or that could benefit, let's spread the word, because it's really about taking our experiences and making them important and valuable to someone else.
Do you think there's value in sharing your personal story with a new mentor?
So I think there is definitely value, but you need to establish first where you need to create a picture of your vision for what's next. I always tell women, don't show up with your baggage, because a mentor isn't a coach. They're not getting paid. They're investing in you because they see something special in you, and they're investing in your potential. So when we show up with our baggage, the mentor's like, whoa, I'm not in this to sort your stuff out. I have my own stuff.
Right. Plus, that's the past, and we're talking about the future.
I want to help you get to the next level. Absolutely. So once you get to the point where you have a relationship and you have some experiences with that mentor, and they know that you're going to do the work, then you can start to share some of your own experiences. But be careful in the early days.
When I was doing some research on you, Stacy, I read somewhere that it took you 38 years to figure out why you were put on this earth. That's a long time. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Yeah, it was. So as I mentioned, my whole career.
Because you're really young. You're not much older than 38.
Well, there's more to that story. So I'm actually 40. So it took me 38 years to figure out why I was put on this earth and 2 years to believe it. And the first 38 years, I had great mentors, and I didn't realize the power of that until there was a void. And at that void was the turning point. It was, I've got to create something so that others have the access to mentorship that I did. And I have to recreate that for myself.
That's so powerful.
The 2 years of trying to believe it, it's, the entrepreneurial journey where you're filled with self-doubt and you just keep going anyway because your dream is bigger than the doubt.
Yes, and during that time, did you seek out mentors, or was it a self-mentoring process?
Oh no, I have phenomenal mentors. I have so many great people who believe in what I'm doing, and they're investing in me in ways that So they have no reason to other than they believe in me and my potential. And honestly, this wouldn't have happened had I not had my own mentorship network.
That's so incredible. Do you have a mentor who helps you speak, who gets you on stages and gives you the confidence?
Why do you think I'm here? I need one. No. Yes, I have a lot of great influences for how to speak. I'm still in the early stages of that. I know I can do better. That's something I've always been. I'm the one who wants to do better always, and there's always room for improvement in my books. So I do a lot of watching others and learning from the good examples. Again, you can learn from the bad ones too. You can learn from the bad ones. So no, I could definitely use some room there.
Well, I think you have an incredible message. I think talking about mentorship and the importance of mentoring girls and women is something that needs to be completely talked about. And what you're doing that I love is that you've created this framework and this mindset. And I want you to just talk for another moment about the mindset part of this equation, because that's not something we touched on yet, and I want to hear from you.
Yeah, I want to see a shift in the way we think about mentorship. So right now, it seems like there's a power dynamic where the learner is inferior to the person who's contributing. I want to shift that, where the mentor knows that they're investing in somebody that has great potential, and it's a worthwhile investment. And so we're attaching great mentors to our story as a way of building our legacy.
That's incredible.
It shouldn't be this difficult to say, mentor me. You know, when you know what you're looking for and the ask is defined, it's not this unlimited ask or request for somebody's time.
And let's say you're not quite at the place where you have the self-confidence that you feel you can ask a mentor to support you. And it's self-doubt, it's self-sabotaging, it's all the things. What kind of support, what would you share with our listeners today to get past that?
Find someone who is an example to you of confidence. Mimic their behaviors until they authentically become your own. And I'm telling you, you fake it until you make it. You fake confidence until you've created something that you're proud of, and then all of a sudden.
The other thing that I will say, I have that I wear on my not confident days
that
I
say
wear
I am
on my
confident, and
not
it's,
confident
I don't know,
days
it's
that
incredible.
say I am confident, and it's incredible. It just reminds me that it's all internal. It's just the way I'm thinking about things.
Absolutely. I just spoke live, and I invited the entire room to say I am a limitless creator until I believed them.
Yes.
Because as a director, that's my job. I will not let you say a line that's not fully realized or authentic or truth. So if you're wearing socks and it helps you feel like the mentor that you need to be or the success that you need to be, that's what you need to do. I love it.
Exactly. Yes.
Amazing. I am so excited we had this conversation today. Thank you, Stacy, for being a featured guest on The Big Talk. Where can our guests get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our website is pinkmentornetwork.com. The pop-up mentor model is available for folks outside of Charlotte. So it's a great way to, there's also opportunities to contact me there. We are on Instagram at Pink Mentor Network. And then I'm on LinkedIn, Stacy Cassio, and Twitter as well.
We'll put all of that in the show notes. Are you planning to do a pop-up in New York?
Yes, that is the dream. I want to have a chapter in New York. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Yes, it is, and we'll have a conversation about that.
I can't wait.
Thanks again for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this special season of The Big Talk with guests from Podcast Row and the Global League of Women. Check out the next episode, and remember, live your truth, be your authentic self, and drop in.